You ready to go? You ready to go, Derek? Okay, here we go.
2 seconds. Okay, you're ready.
Morning.
Mhm.
Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices. Tonight, we need to address some of the issues that are going on as far as the cabinet pick of Donald Trump. But tonight, we also have a special guest that Derek will be introducing to you that's been here before, and we're going to talk with her about her run for office. But first, we'll go to our host, Mr. Derek Scott, who is the chair of the Escambia County Democrat Party here. Yeah, Ms. Jill Lewis Dagg, who is with also the chair out there in Okaloosa. Have Vernon Watson, who is the owner and proprietor of WBQP TV, where you can watch this show on YouTube, Fire Stick, Roku, and WBQP TV. So we want to make sure that everybody is watching. But Derek, you introduce the guests.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and I hope that everybody is having a terrific Sunday evening and had a terrific week thus far. I am happy to have with us. We have seen her name over these past few years. We just recently went through an election cycle, and if you don't know who she is, you probably voted for her as your Democratic nominee for Congress to unseat Matt Gaetz. I'm happy to have with us that congressional candidate for CD1, Ms. Gay Valamont. Gay, welcome with us back. Welcome
Hey,
back with
y'all.
us on the show. How are you
Thank you for
tonight?
having me. I appreciate it.
Good. So, wanted to make sure we had you back because as you know, we've seen a lot of things that have transpired over this week since Donald Trump has become the president-elect. We've seen a barrage of crazy cabinet appointments for 2025. So, as I like to see our nightmare coming true real time, right? And one of those is the congressional candidate that you ran against, who held the seat for Congressional District 1, and that was Matt Gaetz. We saw that he resigned on Tuesday, vacating that seat up until whatever said time. We learned some new things tonight. At least I learned some new things tonight. So why don't you just tell us your thoughts, what you have planned, share some thoughts about the prior election that you have and how we move forward.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. Y'all are all good friends of mine, so I thank you for having me on. It's been I come from the sports world, so losing something does not feel good. But the measure of an athlete or sports team is how quickly you get up after a defeat. And I'm going to get up quick. I felt really good about our campaign. I still feel good about our campaign. We reached out to people and across political landscapes and talked to everybody. And I feel good that we got 140,000 votes in this district, 140,000 plus people in this district cared about what we had to say, what I had to say about the policies and the issues. And so I'm grateful for that. And I will continue to work for those people, for our voice until I can't. So 13 or 12 days ago, Matt defeated me in the race. 4 days ago, Matt resigned from Congress after he won said race. We had prepared for a special election to come up because we knew because we read everything. Everything was out there and documented. We knew that the special election would come up. So we prepared for that prior to our election. Our election happened. Again, disappointed in the results, but woke up the next day going, we still will have another day to fight. And we will. I believe that. Immediately, what we did was file for 2026 to run again. And this is because so DeSantis has not set the special election agenda yet. We don't know when the date is going to start. We don't know what the rules are, if there are special rules. We don't know all that yet. So already knowing that we would do this race, we filed for 2026 so that we can start immediately. We barely turned the lights out on the campaign office. We took a week off and we're back. And again, I'm disappointed that we didn't do better, but I'm so proud of the number of Democrats that showed up to vote. The number of Democrats that took time out of their day, took time out of their week prior to go out and vote. That I appreciate. I need to make sure I talk to every one of those 140,000 people. Because for us to win, for the Democratic Party to win, for Gay Vallimont for Congress to win, we need all 140 of those people to show up. I'm not disillusioned, Derek, Jill, y'all. I almost feel like the necessity is more dire now than it was when I ran 13 days ago. We all need a voice. My plans have not changed. My goals have not changed for this district. What I want for this district is affordable health care, a seat at the damn table. I want to solve the opioid problem that we have in this district that's giving us, lending it to our gun violence problem, which is lending to our homelessness problem. All those problems have not changed. The only thing that has changed is my opponent. And it almost doesn't matter who I'm running against. Who I'm running for are the people of Florida's First. Because there are so many things that we can do here if we just set aside our policy and politics and get to work. I hope y'all feel like I hope you feel that I haven't lost my energy for this.
Matt Gaetz is being nominated to be over the Justice Department over there. If you were there now, how would you vote for him? If you had the right to vote or the influence a vote against him becoming over the Justice Department?
Well, okay, so yeah, that the incoming president has their picks. Every pick is going to have to sit through a congressional hearing, a Senate hearing, and I think even Matt, I read an article today that his dad is even, kind of iffy on whether he can get through the Senate hearing. But what we need to know about are, Matt resigned the day before the investigation from the ethics committee was to come out. And we knew that was planned. What we have to focus on now is allowing government to take their position, trusting that our processes will stay in place and that the right questions will be asked and that the investigation is released. I wish I had had the advantage of having the ethics investigation released prior to the election, because I feel like people weren't given all the information.
So, you know, Trump want to do all these reset appointments. I mean, do you think the Senate going to allow him to do that? Gio, you was about to ask something.
So, and you can answer that question for Jerry, but I would like to maybe focus Gay more on for the people that are watching or who are disappointed in hearing or might hear this later, to stay focused on what she brings to the table. She's not going to fix Trump's issues and where Trump is right now. That's not why she's running. She's running for District 1. So we need to focus on what can Gay do for District 1, because Matt Gaetz chose to resign and Trump chose to give him an appointment. And he will choose to resign one more time, and that will fully open the door for Gay. And we're ready and willing for you. But there are people who really don't know, what does it mean to get a seat at the table? What does it mean that you're going to fight for District 1? Why should they believe, again, all of those that voted need to vote again. But then for those who maybe made a different choice, they don't have that choice to make this time. Why should they choose you?
Jill, I agree that we should not continue to talk about Matt Gaetz, because it's no longer, he resigned from this district. He abandoned his seat for various reasons. I don't know that we'll all know. I think it's important to recognize that for 15 months, I have spent every day talking to people and having conversations that were uncomfortable, not just for me, but for other people, because those are the conversations that we have to have. I have to point out that Matt Gaetz had none of those conversations. So we can get past Matt Gaetz, and he's not who I'm running against next. But I want the people of Florida's First to know they were not given the advantage of having all the information, but that no matter what, from the beginning of this, I've only wanted to represent the people. I'm the only person in this race who truly wants to represent the people. And those things include reducing the cost of healthcare and having honest conversations about how we reduce the price of prescription drugs and keep them reduced now that things are different. How we hold on to those things that we've gained. How we build a VA hospital here that's state of the art and for our veterans. All these things that I have been saying this entire time have not changed. My focus is and has always been on what happens in this district. What happens here? What do people need here? And I want the people of Florida's First to know I appreciate every one of the votes that I received. And I will do anything I need to do to make sure that those people show up for me again. I hope they do not lose confidence in me. But I also hope that all the other people that voted down ballot and didn't look into their to who wants to work for them will give me a second look, because I want to make things better here. I want to solve the opioid problem. I want to make sure that the congestion on 98 gets handled, because we've left it up to state representatives to do all this stuff, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And some of those people want to run for this seat. And I welcome that, because there's nobody that wants to get in the race that can outwork me. I will outwork anybody any day, because I believe that we can all have a seat at the table. I believe that we can all talk about what we need. And I'm sorry I just went on. Everybody, y'all just go on with your next questions. I'm sorry.
Well, you
It's
spoke
been
of
like 10 days since I spoke out publicly, so I got a lot to say, Jerry. I'm sorry.
yeah, you spoke about veterans. I was reading that they want to cut $120 billion from veterans benefits with health benefits.
Yep.
How would you fight that if you was there in the Congress? I mean, because we live in an area where the big military bases are at.
Yeah, we have the highest concentration of military in Florida, veterans and active military on this coast. And we're just a sleepy little lovely coast, and nobody talks about it enough. But we have the most amount of patriots and heroes assembled in one place. We have to work for them. They deserve our best, right? Veterans deserve our best, and they deserve the best health care they can get. They also deserve somebody that's going to speak for them. And I hope that if ex-Congressman Gates takes a job in the administration, that he can help us here on this coast get the things that we need for our veterans. And that's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to work to make sure that we get the things that we need here. I want everybody to know I'm a Democrat. I have Democratic values. That is my party. But when it comes down to working for the district, I'm going to get things in this district that we need. And if it doesn't align with what is happening in Florida's first and what we need, then we take a different look at it. It's not partisan. It's about this district.
I have a question for you. Can you hear me all right?
A little bit, yeah.
All right. So I have a question for you. Sorry. Is there an opportunity? I know we probably will have maybe somewhat of a quick turnaround, or there's some time, but still it's going to be approaching us quickly, special election time. Is there an opportunity for your campaign, or just, and I'm going to caveat my statement, for you to take a second look at what Northwest Florida is wanting, or what they need from their representative in Congress? I ask that question because as I look at this most recent election, and this is not your campaign, I think across the state, or Democrats in general,
right.
I think we missed the mark, in terms of identifying what was important to the voters in the constituency. We told them Amendment 4 was important. It was the end all be all. And money went into Amendment 4. And I'm not saying that's not important, but clearly, as we see based on the election results, it wasn't what resonated with the voters to get them to turn out at the levels that we needed. is there an opportunity? And I guess I'll ask that, I'll say from a Democratic perspective, I certainly look forward to kind of revisiting that from a party leadership standpoint, to seeing what it is that Northwest Florida wants and or needs. Is there an opportunity for you all to do that in your campaign as you move forward?
Oh,
To
absolutely.
help to more cross the line, across the aisles.
Yeah. But we also, we are sitting down tomorrow and going through all of the, all of the dirty of the numbers. But, and I was very lucky this past week to have a conversation with Whitney Fox, Barbie, who ran in 12 or 13, I think. A couple of us women, potential Congress women, running against extremists, and Debbie McCarcel-Powell. So there was 5 of us, Debbie McCarcel-Powell, and we had a conversation 4 or 5 days after the election to try to understand where, as Democratic women, we didn't make it. Where, what happened? And I don't think any of us can put a finger on it right now. The immediate results that came in, that we noticed, are MPAs went right. And we expected to have some sort of non-party affiliation folks come our way. There's a lot of conversations to have about how we send our message. But the thing that has come down to me is that machismo beat us. Being an outwardly strong and confident and male figure. We had a lot of women running in this election that didn't get the votes that they deserved. And it's up for debate. But I think a lot of people just could not find themselves voting for women.
Will be
The cycle.
Be more specific too. Yeah, you said,
and it's not. That's not specific to my race.
Racism on the top of the. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Again, I want to put racism on top of that. Racism and misogyny won out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but if it's racism, I mean, I just lean more into it's the woman problem. And the only reason I say that is because why did Black men move away from Kamala? Like, why?
Well, again, so we've talked about that. That's not necessarily a fair depiction. The same.
Well, no. But
we had the same amount, from a overall picture that voted in 2020. Same percentages kind of held true in 2024. So with that, we see that. I think, and I've said this before, I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I'll continue to say it. I think the problem at the top of the ticket is you could have either been Black, you could have either been a woman, but you couldn't be both in that situation, and that's just being candid. Jill's coming off speak.
Come on, Jill.
No, well, because I'm gonna try to get her redirected back up. I mean, I don't have an answer other than I think what Derek started with is really where we need to go to. At least that would be my first suggestion, Gay, if I were giving suggestions, is regardless of woman, Black, white, purple, pink, I don't care. But I think overall in CD1, because that's what we're talking about right now, we need to understand What do the voters want? What do they need? And do they understand whether you or who, the congressional person can even make that happen? So if I want the hole in my roof fixed, that's not you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Understanding that there are certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. But I think that to win, it's going to take two things. And the very first thing is going to be understanding, okay, if they voted for you, they're going to vote for you again. And we need everybody to hear that. Those of us that voted for Gay Valamont, we're all voting for her again. But for you to win, you need those that voted for him to take, like you said, that second look. But for them to take the second look, you've got to understand, what did they see in the first place? And how can you bridge that gap? How can you say, yes, you saw that, but he couldn't even do that, but this is what we can do, and I'm the person for you. So I think that's very, very key. And then if you could answer one thing, because you just made a statement, because you said it, so I think you need to address it.
So I
You said there's a woman issue and you're still a woman. So how are you going to do things differently? Because you can't change your sex.
Nope.
You are who you are.
Yeah.
And we are in District 1. So how are you going to take all of that energy and the fact that you are a woman and that you do care to change the voters' minds or to open them up to a new vision?
Well, I do have to, we have to acknowledge the fact that the Gates name is staple. And so if you're a registered Republican and you're not one of those people that is not educated, around politics every day, or one of those people that watches cable news every day, then you don't really know what's going on with him or anybody else, but you go to the polls because how long has it been in Northwest Florida since you haven't had a ballot that had Gates on it? You just do that. What I want people to do and what I've asked people to do I think from the beginning of my campaign, is I have asked people to vote for something and not against something. And the against was the anguish and the hate and all that stuff that went along with politics. What I'm asking people this election, I think, will be completely different, because it's not me against a Gates. It's me against another Republican or a Republican, right? Or if someone primaries me, it'll be me and that person going head to head about the things that policies that need to come here. I believe this debate or this election will be completely different, because we can all rest on the fact now that it's just about the issues of Florida's first. It's just about the things that we need now. Y'all know politics and money. So you raise all the money, you put your name out there, you try to reach all the people, and you inevitably never get to all the people. But I am telling everybody here and anywhere else, and I have the last 6 weeks of the election, if you have any questions about where I stand on opportunity, where I stand on equality, where I stand on diversity, equity, and inclusion, where I stand on standing up for the rights of the LGBTQ community. If you have any questions about where I stand on those things, I would be more than happy to have an actual conversation with the voting people of Florida's first congressional district about any topic, and no topic is put to the side, because I think we avoid those things. Like, we don't want to talk about them. Just like y'all don't want me to talk about Gates, right? Y'all don't want me to sit here and talk about how bad Gates is. I understand that. And Joe, you tell me that all the time. Don't talk about how bad he is. But I have to tell you what I've been against. What I've been put up against. And still, I have prevailed. Still, I will have conversations with everyday people that live in this district because I live here every day. That was not something that they could have afforded under a Matt Gaetz. I care about our people. I care about this district. I care about our health care. I care about our environment. I care whether tankers are 2 miles off our coast to drill. I care about those things because I remember 2010 when we had to claw and struggle and get back from an oil spill. Those things I care about. And I will be here to answer any questions for anybody. Our address hasn't changed. My website hasn't changed. I mean, like, I want to know what did we miss on our messaging? What am I,
You know, can I say something?
yes.
Will, I think where where the Democrats went wrong, or where we went wrong, because I'm a Democrat as well as everybody else. I believe that we didn't ask the folks for what their needs are. Okay, for an example, what are the top 3 or the top 5 needs of folks in District 1? What do they want? Okay, and I think sometimes we take a lot of that for granted, and I don't know what their concerns are. And another thing, those folks that on the right of us, that's who we're gonna have to get to. We're gonna have to get to their concerns, okay? Because I think people that voted for you, we got you, okay? But the folks on the other side that we haven't talked to and listened at their concern, and then now that the race will be what I call somewhat neutral now, it's not a bias. Sometimes people just vote by name only. He's been there for a while, and you know, I've been here for a long time, and I've been unimpressed by his performance over the years. I can remember the days of when we had congressmen that we was proud of in this district. Okay, did a lot for the military in this district, did a lot for the veterans in this district and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's what we got to find out. What are the on both sides of the aisle? What's the concerns that the red has, and what the concerns that the blue has in this district, and let's see if we can address those concerns, because those are the ones that going to get us here. Okay, and one thing.
Well, our
one thing that-
polling,
Go ahead.
our polling showed that the number one issue for Floridians or for people in this district, we polled people specifically in this district. The number one thing was homeowners insurance, and that's across Florida. Property insurance and the cost of living, not being able to afford rent, being priced out of places. That was the number one thing we're talking about. And then the next thing, was choice, was a woman's choice. And then the third thing was gun violence prevention. And it's weird. And then education. It's weird that those are my issues. But when you ask people in Florida's first about gun violence prevention, some people think, you'll get 90% of people say it's a problem. But you have a 50-50 split on how to solve it. Some people think it's more guns. Some people think it's less guns. Those are the conversations we have to have. Being able to solve a problem based on everybody bringing their ideas together. And I haven't abandoned that. In the general election, I told people over and over again, I want to reach across the aisle, because that's the only way you come up with good ideas is if somebody challenges yours. You have to talk to the other side to understand where they're coming from, so that, we're not always going to agree, but we have to be able to talk. And I think in this district, spending the 15 months that I did talking to people talking to Republicans, I opened up a dialogue that I am unwilling to shut down now because I believe it's been open and we can do it.
Let me ask you this. For those don't know that they are in District 1, where do District 1 start and stop at, and from north, south, east, and west?
So District 1, I'm sorry, my dog's making a whole bunch of noise. District 1 is Escambia County, Santa Rosa, all of Okaloosa, and a sliver of Walton. Now, if you are in Walton County, check your postal code and it'll tell you if you are in our district, but it is I can't even carve that out for you because it's such a weird gerrymandered thing. But it's a sliver of Walton County. And again, I invite anybody to contact us to let me know what you want me to know. I want to learn from you because really all I want to do is make lives better for the people here and have a voice.
Go ahead.
So that goes to the question, if they want to contact you, you said contact you, how does one do that?
You can, number one, go to our website, Gay for Congress, gayforcongress.com. That's our website. You can sign up to get alerts. If you have a question, info at gayforcongress.com. Ask us a question. And always, you can come by our office. We have an office on North 9th Avenue. We are there. We barely turn the lights out. We're back in office. We're getting our signs back up. We are running for 2026, but we want to talk to you about what's going on now and how we can all make this work for us.
So if they wanted to come by your office, what's the address over there?
2200 North 9th Avenue.
Do you have certain hours that you're open?
We do have hours. I don't know what they've changed to in the off season. But I will check that. They should be on the website to let you know. But there's also, if you show up at our office and nobody's in office, there's always somebody you can call immediately. We're going to get signs back out. We're going to get our energy back out. I know y'all Democrats, everybody, I know we're all tired.
They want to donate to your campaign. How do they?
Same website, gayforcongress.com. GAYFOR for Congress. I just want everybody to realize that it's so tiring, and I know everybody's tired, but let's spend some time next couple days and let's regenerate and know that we can do this. We gotta take a swing at it again. We have to.
All right, then. I know it is time for everybody to. I think everybody went through the mourning period. Now it's time to get back at it to make sure that we don't get lost in this thing. It's time to get back in the ring, as you were.
That's right.
Back in the ring. To make sure that we don't get lost in this or just get so depressed that we don't realize that we still got the power was still in the hand of the people.
Let me ask this question, if you will. Since we know that there's going to be a special election, how do we anticipate that to turn out?
So what we anticipate is that the election, the special election will be triggered after the inauguration. And we only anticipate, because we anticipate the worst. So we anticipate that it'll happen after the inauguration so that if there is any discrepancy in what happens in the election, that they will have the ability to handle it. Anyway, it should happen right after the inauguration. We expect 30 days for a primary. And then we expect, 90 days for a primary, and then another 90 days for a general election.
So who
The
gonna
only way that
represent?
that could get shorter is that if the Republican Party agrees on a candidate and the Democratic Party agrees on a candidate, and then there are no primaries, and then the next 30-day election general can go ahead and start.
So in the meantime, who represents District 1?
Nobody.
Wow. That might be a good thing, you know, if you ask me, for now.
I think
Well,
to add a little,
we hadn't been represented in the last 8 years anyway, so
Yeah,
no difference. So okay.
I agree,
I
Ryan.
think to add a little bit more clarity to that, as we understood tonight, which was a new learning for me, is that Matt Gaetz has to be sworn back in because he won this most recent election. So although he quit in his current role as the representative for Congressional District 1.
You
So then they've
serious?
got to be sworn back in, and he's got to resign the second time. So once he resigns the second time, that will trigger the election, special election.
Oh.
So to Gay's
Does
point,
anybody
I thought
feel
we had
like
that.
it
that's
is
like a little
after the inauguration,
unstable?
but the new folks have to be sworn into office so that he can resign a second time. And then once he does that, then everything will transpire as Gay indicated.
I thought we were rid of him, but now we. Oh God. Oh God. What I envision would happen is that you're gonna be so much pressure on him not to get that AG position that he's gonna probably reunite, get reinaugurated again. That's what I probably think will happen. So,
Well,
oh God, I thought we had. Well, but again, it was suspect for the reason that he resigned. You know, he didn't want that report to come out. I'm assuming that that didn't want that to come out. So, if he decided to accept his second term, his next term, then I wonder if that is still going to happen.
Yeah, they would have to release it then, the ethic report, if he stays there. That was the reason he was trying to escape uh, that ethic report from coming out, because it's going to talk about his trafficking underage girl that he's been involved with. His whole the stuff that he did on the floor of the house by showing pictures and how he have dealt with young ladies and all of that. That's going to come out if he accepts and stays there as a congressperson under the ethics, and it is going to blast all over the world. So yeah, he don't want to stay there. He's thinking the cover is to go into the cabinet and and sit at the DOJ. So, and
There's no way it
just,
doesn't come
yeah,
out. There's
yeah,
no way it does not come out at this point.
yeah. And now I'm about to say, and it should come if the Senate, you know, don't deal with their responsibility to confirm his consent and to do the investigation, the FBI and all that he wants to get rid of, then we're in trouble in this country if they Senate.
Yeah, we're in trouble. All right, we definitely in trouble. About
Y'all
that.
don't give up. We're not in trouble yet. We're gonna, we just have to keep working. And man, we have to keep working, even if we win this seat and I go there and I work 24 hours a day, we still have to keep working because there's always somebody waiting to take our rights away from us. And that's why we have to make sure that people that we elect are dedicated to the fight, not people that want to be famous.
Yesterday, I had the privilege of sitting on a panel for a post-op post debriefing of the post-election debriefing with the League of Women Voters for Pensacola Bay, which includes Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. And they invited both the chairs of the Republican Party and Democratic Party for Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. And the one thing that I would say that all party leadership across the counties said in agreement was that they hope and feel that it is necessary to release the House Ethics Investigation Report into Matt Gaetz. So I don't know if that's food for thought, but if I go back to our chat on Facebook, we have a lot of folks watching, and I want to say shout out to all those in Facebook world who are watching. We got two comments from Joe Marie Lisa. Hey, Joe Marie. She said, you go, Gabe Balamont. I'll be working and voting for you again. But she had a question. And her question was, should GOTV this go around include unaffiliated voters or non-party affiliated?
Oh, it did last time. We knocked on MPAs for the majority of the last 2 months. We knocked on Democrats and way prior to that. So it was MPAs and Republicans at the end. And I have to tell you, I had a ton of Republicans come up to me in our 12-day tour around the district, come up and tell me that they voted for me. I'm a Republican. I voted for Donald Trump, but I also voted for you. Which I don't know how that happens, but I welcome it, and I hope the people of Florida's first just think about like what's important to them. Don't vote your party, vote your issues. Vote what's important for you. What's going to help you get to work easier? What's going to help you pay the bills? And how can I help?
I agree. So I know Washington D.C. is a tough place to be as well. So what is your first priority if you get to DC?
I'm so sorry. I have allergies. I'm all coughing.
So
My first and always has been my first legislative priority has always been passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, because we have no voice if we have no vote. Still priority number one. The first thing I think I can get done in Washington is affordable health care. I think I can lend my hand to making sure that health care and drugs are affordable for our seniors, for our cancer patients. There are lots of things in health care that can be solved. It should be easy. Education is the second thing. We are under the threat of losing the Department of Education to fund our public schools, to set standards for our public schools. And as we've talked about throughout this campaign, both of my parents were public school educators their entire lives, 42 and 36 years. I believe public school education is what makes us better. And if you have seen the local news or seen the articles lately, Florida's SAT scores are 47th in the nation this year. We can do better. It's unimaginable that we don't have schools in certain places in this district. We are making parents drive 30 and 45 minutes to and from school. We need accessible healthcare and accessible education for everybody. And the third thing that is on my priority list is to reduce gun violence. I am a gun violence prevention activist. I have been in Florida for the last 12 years. I believe there are simple things that we can do to make sure that we save lives, protect kids, from loose guns, making sure that we have safe storage laws and background checks on all gun sales. Pretty easy things that we could do if we all just coalesce and talk about the reasons why and then vote on it.
And would you have anything, could you work, I guess, have any legislative part in this insurance, because they're saying Florida is almost becoming uninsurable? Would you, as a congressperson, have some legislative agenda processes that you could use to help uh, stop some of the draining of the insurance company of people here,
Right.
but you get the money and then they get up and leave.
Yeah. Well, we just had two insurance companies that pulled out of Florida after the past hurricane. I got a notice the other day that my insurance was being sold to some other insurance company. I mean, it's a ridiculous, and that what that falls under is state purview. These past couple years, we've had a couple, I think the last year we had two sessions, special sessions that were called to solve this problem. And what they did was anything other than solve the problem. And what happened with the insurance problem is that the Florida legislature under Rick Scott that many years ago gave the insurance companies too much purview, too much room to throw our accounts around, to charge us whatever we wanted. So the regulation, which is a word that Republicans hate, has to come from Tallahassee. Now, if Tallahassee does not meet that threshold, then you can have congressional hearings. And all congressional hearings do is make that information public and then rely on the people to vote accordingly. So we need people to pay attention, but we first need for the Florida legislature to act to save us all money.
Right, 'cause I was going to say, I have citizen insurance right now.
Yep.
They sent me a letter and saying that, they will determine, if I have to choose an insurance company under their program, I guess, and if I don't, they would choose it for me. So I got to find out what company that I want to use, because if they choose for me, it might be much higher than what I already have, which my insurance double from the insurance that I had before.
Right. And they're betting that most Americans don't have time to do that. Most Americans don't have time to take a day off of work and go, well, let me see what this no-name insurance company wants to do with my insurance. They just want to pay it and know that they're covered. That's what people want. That's what people want from their health insurance. That's what they want from their homeowners insurance. And we're not getting those guarantees because we're removing the necessity for those people to have to answer for what happens. We're just letting people, the Florida legislature is allowing these insurance companies to just drop people and not pay their claims. If there's no regulation, and it's just like you tell your kids, if there's no consequences, then you're going to continue to do it. So that's what we have to work on. We have to put people in the Florida legislature that will do those things. And I will do my best on the back end to make sure those things happen. And if they don't answer our questions, I will bring them into Congress.
All right. Jim?
Well, I noticed that Cheryl joined us, so I didn't know if she had any Great,
Hi,
phenomenal
Cheryl.
questions. I just wanted to share before we change gears. You're still on mute. She's
Yes.
working on it. She's like, yes, I'm working on it.
So, yeah, I know you talked about education, but education coming out of that the education department, uh, coming out of there, um, it's going it's going to hurt a lot of people, especially a lot of disabled people. I mean, children with artistic problems. It's just a whole host of things. A lot of the Title IX programs and
Special
all
programs
of
go
that
away.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna really destroy education as we know it, because once it come back to the state's gonna use a lot of that money to for private. And I've read about they want to do a Christian national education where it don't deal with anything other than uh, Christian education from a biblical standpoint. So it's going to be devastating to the public educational system. And then they're going to make it so that teachers can be sued if they teach other than what they deem um, Christian education.
Oh, that's already legal in Florida. You can, teachers can individually be held accountable for not using the kids' appropriate name or their God-given, or not God-given, their birthright name, and then if they call them something else. Look, and I think I said this on y'all's program before, and it wasn't well liked. We got to stop looking at all the flashy objects. And we got to get back to basics, like just our daily stuff. Because if we look too broad, we go, oh, it's too insurmountable. We can't do it. It's too much. Well, let's focus on these things that are right here. And if we set a good example, we'll take this movement across the country.
All right. I think I was trying to wait for Derek to get back. Jill, you want to end this?
Yes, so Gay, I want you, or Derek's back, but he'll probably finalize it. But what I would like you to do is give everybody one more time the location of your office, the ways to donate, and we can still donate even though, because you are running for 2026, kind of go over all that so they can make sure we continue to support you. But it's so those people who now have to make a different decision have a way to contact you. And then your final words of what you really want everybody. You've said it over and over again, but just one more time, this is really why I'm running. And this is why I ran before, why I'm continuing to run, why I said I'm going to run in 2026. Can you give us all that?
I can. I think, I talk too much. So cut me off if I'm going too long. So it's Gay for Congress, gayforcongress.com. And we are Gay for Congress on all social media outlets, including Blue Sky now. So check us out on everything. Facebook page can tell you everything about where we are in district and what is going on. You can sign up on our Facebook page. Again, if you have already, on our website, if you have already done that, you don't have to redo it for the special election or for 2026. We have your information and we will reach out. You can always go to our website or Act Blue to donate to us. Our Act Blue page comes up as soon as you go to Gay Valamont for Congress. And every bit counts, y'all. I hate money in politics, but every bit counts. It, for instance, cost us $90,000 to get 2 commercials on WEAR, for a month, twice a day. $90,000. So it's not cheap. It takes a while to get your name out. I feel like the people who have invested in me, I owe something to. I hate that I let anybody down. But I don't feel like we did anything wrong. I feel like we can only build on our progress. I stand for working people, for us, for people that have been through something, for people that take care of their moms or their dads or a loved one or a child or volunteer at their niece's school, or people that just want to give back to our community and put the work in to do it. We all have that ability to do it. Let's stop talking about this is right and that's right, and the Democrats took this turn and the Republicans did this right and they did that wrong, and Matt Gaetz and blah blah blah. Let's talk about what we what we need here, because Jill's story is different from Cheryl's story, is different from Vernon's story, is different from anybody's story. And what we got to do is start talking to each other and going, these are our problems, how do we fix them? And I want to be your conduit to make sure that I find a way to accomplish those goals, which is affordable living. Everybody wants to just save a little money. Everybody wants to be able to pay their bills and have quality of life. Everybody deserves dignity. Everybody deserves a minute to get a leg up. And y'all, our vote is that. We've done it before. 140,000 people voted for me. I need each one of you to show back up. Don't take the day off whenever it's announced, and take 2 people with you. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Derek, I'm gonna let you sign off. You're on mute.
I certainly thank you for joining us this evening. We've got some, as you said, we've got some work ahead. But please, whatever it is that the show can do for you, or we as panelists, whatever in our individual capacities, please don't hesitate to reach out, because it is about getting across the finish line. So we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, that was Gabe Alabant, one of the candidates. Were you about to say something? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm going to let you say it because I don't know the details, but I think in her excitement and energy that she forgot to share the press conference tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't know that I have the specific details, but what I will share is I think there is a press conference that is happening tomorrow, Monday morning at 10 a.m. at the Escambia County Supervisor of Elections office. So if you are interested in joining her at that press conference, please feel free to do so and show your support. Again, that is Gabe Allamont. We thank her for giving us the time this evening, excuse me, and joining us. Sorry, I'm a little bit anyway. So that's that. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mr. McIntosh, as it is your show.
Listen, I think we need to talk about some of these people that Trump is nominating for office. We just talked about Matt Gaetz and um, putting him over the Justice Department. Have you ever heard of him ever going to trial on a case? Vern, Jill,
Jerry,
Cheryl?
let me ask you
Uh,
this. You asked that question early on, right? About what do y'all expect? Okay, what do you expect out of this clown car? This clown show. This is Barnum and Bailey 2.0. I didn't expect anything different. People act like they're surprised when he nominate all these crazy clowns. I'm not surprised at all. It's just how we going to manage it for the next 4 years, and I don't think the clown show is over yet. I mean, it's some more clowns to be announced. If you ask me, I think that is going to be not to be what they said literal, but it's really going to be a circus. Okay, definitely going to be a circus for the next 4 years.
yeah, and the thing about it though is that when you nominate somebody to the Justice Department, and one of the things I always try to get over to people is when state and local governments didn't work in our favor or try to bring justice some kind of way, it was the Justice Department we could turn to and try to get some lenient, I mean, some release from the issue that we needed addressed. But now,
Well, what did Richard Pryor say about that, Jerry?
I
About
know
black
just
folks
us,
and
yeah,
justice. When we go down to the jail, it's just us. You right.
just us. But at least there were some things that the Justice Department, uh, brought some release to us when it might have took a while, but it did come in some instance, not more, not all, but some.
But Jerry, y'all making the same mistake. It is not about us.
I
It's about
know,
him. Okay? It's never going to be about Americans. It's never going to be about us. It's never going to be about other folks. It's going to be about Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. Okay? So
Mhm.
he's looking out for his needs and his concern. He's not looking out for the American people's concern. And so that's why he appointed somebody so that they have his back, not your back. Okay? What he trying
Right,
to so he can the exact retribution on those folks that he doesn't like. So
right,
uh,
right.
and if the people voted for it, now they got it, and I hope they can be able to digest. They say how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Well, I hope you don't choke on this one.
And then the person they putting over intelligence, what's her name, Gilbert,
Oh Lord,
Tulsa Gilbert,
she a Russian spy. She's
yeah, the Russian spy.
she's a double agent. If you ask me, that's my opinion.
Yeah, she's gonna be over intelligence. I mean, when you think about it, these people, like you say, these well, when the people elect a person that been accused of rape, been adjudicated for assault on and then got 34 felonies, all of these things that are going on with him, you know, when the people vote for him, what is you have to ask yourself, what is the country coming to? What I mean, the is the people that out there that they don't care, or they just don't see, or they just want a dictator, or just somebody other than a person with some intelligence whatsoever.
Jerry, I don't subscribe to this theory, but if you read the history and if you read the legislative history of why the electoral college came about, it was for the
Oh yeah,
same reason because those folks just did not believe that the general population was smart enough to elect, the president of the United States. So they had to have a format that they would be able to control it. And that's how the Electoral College came about. And I'm beginning to understand why maybe, even though I disagree with the Electoral College, but when we leave it to the general masses there, they obviously may not make the right decision, as in this case. Okay, um, I don't know. I don't know. I think people too. I think we're more sheepers than we are people. Okay, so we follow the lead, we follow names, we follow the okie doke, and people just not that engaged, uh, universally engaged, I say, and they make some bad decisions. I think this election, it just was a bad decision. How did we lose the way we lost? I still don't understand. The only reason explanation I would make is that it had to be cheated. That's my information. But we Democrats, we're gonna accept the election for what it is and just assume it was a fair election, which I don't believe in my heart it is. Uh, I know how folks felt in 2020. So, but now I just think that I just can't fathom why we would elect a criminal, you know, somebody that been prosecuted, somebody that been accused of rape and not accused of it, but convicted of something similar to rape, but wasn't rape, but whatever they was similar to, and all these other folks that's involved, like Matt Gates and all these criminal people with these criminal elements behind them, and and we rejected that for I can't see I just don't understand that. I,
Well, do you think, Murray, that it's because they saying as many as 15 million people didn't even bother to vote that voted before? And then, there's always around 90 million people who don't bother to vote, period, regardless, uh, in these elections. So do you think that might have been the issue, like the 15 million that didn't even bother to vote this time around, that voted in
I
uh,
don't know. I
what?
don't know. All I know, I'm just flabbergasted at other results. I'm just totally flabbergasted. I just can't bring myself to believe that America is this damn stupid. Okay, that's just. But it is what it is.
So we see Christine Morris is back. Hey, Christine, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Give us your opinion on what's happening with this, what happened.
I think a little differently than Vernon. I think this is who the country is. I mean, honestly, I 100% believe this is who the country is. For those that didn't vote, I've got nothing, but I never had anything for folks who didn't vote in the past either. For no matter how important we say it is, no matter how many times we say get out there and vote, you know, what surprised me was, the next day when they were talking about like the top searches, like, can I change my vote and things like that? I was like, what? No, we only get one time. Um,
Buyer's
you know,
remorse.
right. Like, what did you think would happen? Yeah, I mean, it's a lot like 2016 to me. Um, and yeah, I just think that's where we are. Now, what I will say is, you know, a lot of folks did not know who Kamala Harris was. I will say that. When you look at it nationwide, if you're from California, you knew who she was if you're politically engaged. But if you weren't, a lot of folks just really didn't know who she was. Um, and, I'm proud of my vote. I'm so proud of everything that we've done. Um, yeah, I mean, but do I think that there was something really, really underlying? I think America is just that racist. Honestly, I think it's just that racist and that misogynist. And I think the map kind of shows that. Now, I also believe that the South is heavily gerrymandered on top of that. So, you know, the votes aren't going to always fall the right way, even though we vote the right way, if that makes sense. I think gerrymandering, especially in the South, played a huge part in that.
One of the things I strongly believe that they just couldn't, and I have to agree with Gay on this. I think with a lot of misogynists was involved with. I think that the country could not fathom to have a black woman for president. She had two problems. She was black and she was a woman, and so just to have a black woman to run this country, I don't think a lot of folks could fathom that for whatever reason, and they voted against their own interests in order for that not to happen. Just my belief about that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. We get you. What do you think? I mean, what's your opinion on?
I think that this is a time we need to really listen to the people, because clearly there's something that was missed. Whether it's a message that we wanted to convey that didn't get through. This definitely needs to be a time of reflection and planning for the next 2 years or the next large election to get it right.
What do you think we missed, though, Cheryl? I don't understand that. I think we addressed it. I think we addressing everything that the country needed, except for racism and sexism.
Right, but I think that there was a lot of, and this is also based on some feedback I've gotten from some people, is that we're saying you need this. We think this is what you need, or this is what is important. Whereas other people might not feel that way. Our fight isn't their fight.
What's the example then? I hear people, the talking points is always that crap. Okay, but nobody bring me up specific. What in this country that we need that Kamala Harris wasn't offering?
Well, I'll give you a good one where I think we missed the mark. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
right. Like when we talk about it, we talked, and I said it earlier, like we talked about women's reproductive health care. Now, what I am not saying is that these things aren't important. What I am saying is that the people who voted clearly didn't find them as urgently or as important. We talked about women's reproductive health care. We talked about property tax or insurance. But in Florida, these people didn't say property tax and insurance. They said immigration. That's what they said. They said the economy. That's what they said. So when we talk about, like, is there an opportunity to retool the message to get in sync with what people across the aisle? You heard Gay talk about MPA votes. We thought that MPAs, because of Amendment 4 and because of Amendment 3, would swing left. They ain't swing left. They swung right? So it's to the point where I think Cheryl said it, Jill has said it, we're saying it, is that we're telling people what is important to them instead of actually hearing what is important to people.
Right. And just a little while ago, I'm not sure who said it, but it was almost like, what's wrong with these people? They don't, what are you, crazy or something? People feel attacked if we're not if we're in disagreement on how to go about things. You know what I mean? Like, we might see it based on our experiences and in our life. It may not match or be the same thing for someone else who had like a different path. The way we talk to each other about the same issues also matters, because it kind of makes people tune out and not be receptive to the message.
There's two things. I have to I have to say this. 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump. 52%. A man who, they always talking about morals in this country. A man who cheated on his first wife with a second wife, a man who cheated on his second wife with a third wife, got children by different women. But that's what they always throw in front of black people, black men and black women, if they, something like that happened.
But that don't matter to
Then,
them.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Then when you look at they said, well, the economy was a major issue. The economy is
It's
better
good.
than it's been in 50 years. Things
Right.
things are high because we've talked about this extensively on here because of the greed merchants who gouge the American people who cannot get enough, but the American people, it's like food. We subsidize the farmers, right? We subsidize them. But then when it comes to the food on the shelves, it's higher than it is anywhere else. But it should not be because we, the taxpayers, give them so much money to do their farming.
But
So why is it so high?
Mr.
Then,
Mack, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I didn't get that message all throughout the campaign. Like the messaging was, to me, the problem, because I wasn't hearing that every time a Democrat opened their mouth. Them talking about the record high stock market and the major corporations price gouging. I wasn't hearing that message. But people were complaining that there's, they have a problem putting food on the table. There should have been an answer to that was consistent across everyone running, in Democratic Party, as I see it on the right.
Cheryl, I think all that was just bullshit. I mean, I just don't believe that
bullshit.
it was that critical. If they think they got problem putting on the food on the table now, just wait 4 years from now. See how much problem they're gonna have putting food on the table. I think those are just excuses.
Right, but whatever it is, it worked because we lost day one. This is an opportunity, I think, for us to, just fall back a little bit and see where it was. Like maybe there is something for us to get out of this that we missed. That's all.
Missed by not running a white man.
I would. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Christine. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I would just add that, when I'm in the car, I listen to public radio and all of this. When I'm in my husband's car, he's got satellite radio on. And so all he listens to is sports 24/7. So the commercials I heard when I would be with him in the car, what was said about her, everything was just so horrible. And one thing that I don't think I've heard anybody talk about was really how anti-LGBTQ it was. And so because she stood here, I mean, it was just horrible. And I mean, the lies that were spread in some of these commercials were just nonstop horrific. I mean, honestly, it was just like Kamala Harris is just gonna let just some of the things they said either about immigration or about LGBTQ plus folks was just absolutely horrible, and it played nonstop.
One of the things I was going to say, when you listen to Kamala Harris speeches, what did she run on? She said, I'm going to give $25,000 tax break for first-time homeowners. She said she was going to fight those who was doing the food gouging, price gouging. She said she was going to give $50,000 of new startup business breaks. She said she would sign the immigration bill that Trump told them not to sign. You know, I mean, the list of things that she ran on was in the best interest of the American people.
Jared,
And
let me ask you this: do you think, just for a minute, that did that sound too socialist for them?
you sideways, Jill.
Do you think that's too socialist for them? It just to me that they thinking that I would she would probably been better served as talking about those other issues and doing those things when she got in office. But I kind of think that this country so capitalistic country so not so smart that they think that anything that you're giving away to programs of people, in particular, all those programs were for people of color. Okay, and then they talked about, in my opinion, they talked about a lot about the middle class. Okay, nobody talked about the working class. I think that's what they probably missed, because most of the people in this country, whether I don't know whether they're middle class or not, but I know a lot of folks is working class people. I know that. And I think they probably missed the measure of talking to those working class people and sounding more socialist, sounding more like my boy Bernie. So I think that might have been a thing that may have affected. But just my opinion.
But and you're right. She talked about the middle class, but then she talked about tax cuts for the middle class as well.
I know,
She
but
talked,
how do you define the middle class? Okay,
right?
I don't know. A lot of folks that struggling to pay their bills every month probably not consider themselves in the middle class. Middle is just what it says. It's in the middle. You got the top, you got the middle, and then you got below all of the top and the middle. You got a whole big range of folks that I don't want to say them whatever class you want to call them, something that below the middle class, which I call the working class people. You got a lot more of them down there struggling every day. And I don't know where they heard that message. I think they heard the message for middle class and Trump talking about the high class, but he was talking to those working people, the working class. So he was saying, he was using the same language they were using, but he really don't care about those class. He's just using them. And I don't know. I don't know. Let me.
But you know what? Like Christina says something that I think hits the mark. She listened to the CNN and the commentary and things like that. Her husband, just in all sports, they didn't get not everybody got the same message.
Yeah.
So although we might be kind of in the know because we stay up on these things, the average person who's listening to the radio or satellite radio or whatever, they weren't getting the same message about who Kamala Harris is, what her platform is. They were just getting the negative ads being put out by the other side.
I agree with that.
Well, one of the things Dr. Barber has been trying to nudge the Democrat Party to is what you talk about, Vernon, the working class people and the poor people. Like he says, 40 million poor people that can change the trajectory of any election. But the Democrat nor the Republicans appeal to them. And he kept saying this is a good way to get those individuals to vote, to register them to vote, to put finances on the ground where the people are at, rather than giving all that money to the already rich media conglomerates in the world. He has been talking about this for the last 10 years or so. And then what Trump is talking about, putting tariffs on all the incoming produce that's being brought here, products that are being brought here, and also tax cuts for the rich, not for the middle class, not for the poor, but for the rich. His buddies that are there. So you're right when we talk about the middle class. A lot of times we're not talking about poor people and the working class people in this country. And so it needs to be addressed. And it seems that neither party has addressed that issue. I think those people got it all confused. One of the things Joe Biden did, he marched with the unions. He helped to get it so it make it easier for people to join the unions, so they can have, so they can bring more people into the middle class. But the people that even he marched with voted against it. You know, in a lot of these unions, people that I thought because that he was uh, protesting with them, that they would join forces with the Democrat Party to help bring them to keep at least keep Trump out of office, but they didn't. There. Go ahead, Gio.
I was just trying to, I'm still struggling trying to see Jill trying to toggle between her phone and her computer and not get the setup situated. It's
So
me.
while I was in the hospital, they broke my go-to computer, and I have a backup, but it's a newer Mac. And I do regular computers. And so I was and I'm here anyway, I'm on the phone now. And then I couldn't get it to unmute, so I couldn't say anything. But now I can say something. So before you start, me say something while I'm on mute and on camera. I think I'm not going to disagree with what anybody said, but I also am hearing a lot of conversation from young people, from immigrants, just people that are talking. And Vernon, I know you're going to disagree with them, but they picked their issue. And on that issue, I'm going to call it the Trump rhetoric, was just stronger. And they went at it a different way. We talked about this last week. They didn't go on TikTok. Yes, Christina, you're saying your husband was while they were listening to those bad ads on Kamala, the Trump team was behind the scenes on whatever it is, gray, black, white, whatever the channels are on the back dark web, having millions of viewers over and over again. They then got people that had their own following to get him on there, or one of their people on there. People were hearing that what we were saying were lies and what they were saying were true so much. While we were pushing Amendment 4 or Amendment 3, they were pushing everything they really were thinking about, which was, unfortunately for some people, immigration. He has that rhetoric. I mean, he might make it truth, because we're about to find out if 2025 says what it says and he doesn't lie. That's the wrong thing to say. He makes things happen that he says are going to happen. Then them listening to that was just his way of captivating all these people into his side. What I heard now are some of them going, uh-oh. And it's too late. It's we thought that it was immigration. We thought he was going to do this. We thought this, because that's what they were told. That's what they were brainwashed into. And then there's many, many people, because I was in a rehab facility in the hospital for almost 30 days. And those people were cheering. They were happy. They thought this was, somebody has a sign, Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president, on the same freaking sign. It's a flag out that they have on their houses. They think this is fabulous. So I think we got outmaneuvered on the dark side, because we were so busy spending billions of dollars on Amendment 4. Again, not that Amendment 4 wasn't important, because it's absolutely important, and many people will die because we didn't pass that. But we were, again, as Democrats, telling people what to think instead of saying what is most important to you. And as long as we continue to do that, yes, we can do vote by mail. Yes, we can register voters. We're 1 million down now. So I'm just saying, yes, we can do vote by mail, and yes, we can do register voters. But our voters are saying, you're not speaking to my issues. And as long as we continue to not understand that, even though we see the clear picture, Jerry, Vernon, you guys are giving us the clear picture, but they're just not there. So you can't give somebody a clear picture. They only got one eye, can't see. Just saying. I'm just saying. I can say that because and I can't see, so I can say that. But you're giving me a clear picture. But all I care about is how can I get this, whatever it is. And if my this is not what you're talking about, and in this case, he didn't just win. It's astronomical, and he won the popular vote. So we can't even say that the people spoke. I mean, like the people wanted something different. Take the electoral, throw it out the garbage, because he kicked our behinds.
Kicked our ass.
Yeah. But if I say that, somebody will say that. So like she said, he did. And he did it on the dark side. And so while we're sitting here talking about whatever, we got to figure out what do we do now and how do you protect those people that are going to be, and that's some of us, but I'm just saying, how do we protect ourselves when 2025 is in place? You look at the people that he's nominating, this is like catastrophic. It is catastrophic. And that part wasn't written in 2025. Nobody in the world thought that he was going to put Matt Gaetz in there.
I did.
Why I don't understand why we would not think that.
Right.
And when did
he don't do that. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But whatever works for them, because he's there now. And so, you know, I think we just missed it. I mean, maybe that's it, because we were so trying to buy into, and I think Derek said this, I think last week, you saw 1 million people get on there and raise $1 million here, and then next day we're raising $1 million here, and it's Black people, and it's the Divine Nine, and it's white women, and my daughter said there was old men for Kamala on the street waving signs with signs that said old men for Kamala. Like, we bought in.
Yep.
We bought in. She raised all that money. And I'll also tell you that the young people say that they set us up. that wouldn't read that they would set us up to think, gave her the money so that we would lose. Because we were so busy, like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen, not looking at what they were doing behind the scenes. And we have to admit that we got outmaneuvered. This isn't a Black issue. This isn't a Puerto Rican issue. This isn't an immigrant issue. This isn't a white issue. This is a States of America, because I have a hard time saying we're the United States of America for what United States, but the States of America have spoken clearly.
Well, those immigrants, people that voted for Trump, they gonna mess around and find out, because they want to move them in books. Steve Miller want to get them out now. Him and Steve Bannon and all of that. Steve Bannon just got out of jail last week, and he's ready to get them by the bus load, train load, plane loads, and get them up out of here. They're talking about we're not gonna separate families anymore. We're just gonna send everybody away. You know, if you were born here, you're supposed to be a citizen. But not anymore. Not under the Trump administration. If the parents going, the children going too. They talk about getting rid of all the DACAs, people that have been here for years. They're gonna pile them up too. So all those individuals that voted for Trump, as if Trump had changed his mind or something. But like Jill said, there's no telling what they was telling them on the dark web in Spanish. But so
You know
they gonna find out now.
You know what it is? It's them not understanding he said what he meant, but they're removing themselves from what it is. Like, for example, when he says, this country, they're letting in all the criminals, it's the criminals. For the immigrant population who separates themselves, they're like, oh, that's not me, because I'm not committing crimes, or I am a working member of the community. And it's like, I'm waiting on the light bulb for them to understand that criminals to them is undocumented, not coming in the correct way. So you could be undocumented and be an attorney. I don't know if that's such a thing, if that's possible, but let's just say you are, right? you can't say, oh, it's not me, because I'm not a criminal. But you are the criminal. You are the criminal that they're referencing. So you finna be gathered up just like this. They're gonna come, they're gonna gather people up and start putting them in those vans. I don't know about them text messages about the plantation, but I do know them vans that go to the ICE is real. So from that standpoint, it's hard for them to see. Like, I look at that man on TV, that delegate. I forget his name, but he was one of the Michigan delegates from Dearborn, that Palestinian man that was on CNN. Like, please, President Biden, talk to Netanyahu before you leave office. Please, please, please. Because Donald Trump ain't gonna do it. And we wanted to say excuse me. We black folks tried to tell you, but you ain't listen. Like you thought like, oh, y'all thought y'all knew better. Or, the census had y'all fooled that y'all got moved into the other bucket or the white bucket, so therefore you white. No, you're not white. That was just a numbers game. So they finna obliterate you and turn you into beachfront property. We tried to tell you. We tried to tell you, but y'all said, oh, no, we going to get y'all black folks. We going to show you. We going to trick you. Say, we with you, and then go tell you we ain't voting with you. And now yet again, you're like, wait, what? There's a lady on TikTok that has this very catchy song. And it goes, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. And she sings it all the time. And it's like, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. I thought it long and I'd be fine, but turns around that I'm not fine. I never thought the leopards would eat my face. In other words, you can go in thinking you're immune, you're exempt, you are the chosen one. But I'm like, that ain't you. You finna go. So it's just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Derek, this kind of remind me of a lady that used to work for me when I was working with the government, and I guess these was back in the Bush days when we were voting for Bush, and she was a diehard Bush fan, and we tried to tell her about Bush and that she's gonna be voting against her own interests, and sure enough she did, and guess what happened? Her own son got killed in that war that Bush sanctioned, and then she lived to regret that. That's what we tried to tell you, that if you vote this way, as the people say, vote had consequences. And that's what a lot of folks going to see right now. They bought into that okie doke, and they're going to find out they're going to be affected by it. And you're right, Derek. It's everybody think it's everybody but me. They ain't talking about me. They talking about these other folks. They talking about these other undocumented immigrants, and they're talking about, no, you're not. He's talking about all of you. This thing is about the branding of America. They don't want that to happen. They don't want for the people of color to control the United States of America. Okay, they trying to. They ain't gonna be able to help it, but they trying to. They can't control it, but they can slow it down. But then also trying to position themselves to stay in power, even if it did happen. So one way of not controlling it, we'll deport 20 million of you, so we have a 20 million better chance to keep control of this country. So I think a lot of them are going to live to regret it. Even a lot of black folks. Like I tell and Jill, you're right. My grandchildren, all that kind of stuff that was a Trump supporter, I tried to put knowledge in them, but that generation believed that this food would be good for them. But they're going to, I said, I use my analogy about I'm on the fourth quarter. You in the first quarter. You got to play this whole game, and this game gonna be a lot tougher for you. I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be out. So you got to protect your own interests. I'm trying to help you from what I know and what I've seen.
And when they're talking about giving police totally immunity, what do they think gonna happen? I mean, somebody ought to have been listening to what they are saying. Because they're talking about giving total immunity to the police officers.
Right. Well, Jerry, didn't they have it before? Then we just got You just got in position because they had immunity up until to George Floyd or something like that, right? Didn't he?
But they still have limited immunity, but
Yeah.
Trump saying total
Total
immunity.
immunity, yeah. That's a license to kill.
Yeah, it's like to kill, rob, steal, do whatever you want to, and nothing, because that's what he wants.
Right.
That's how dictators work. They get law enforcement to do their dirty work, and then people are mad at law enforcement now. Now you got an enemy. You got an enemy like he wants, the enemy within the enemy in the country. So the people become the enemy of law enforcement.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share this because some of y'all looked at me like, what am I talking about? The leopards would eat my face. So I wanted to play it so you understood what it was. This one is one she did when Candace Owens got blacklisted by the whatever that group is that she works for. So let me play it so you can hear.
Main part, it's like they're all working together to brand her as anti-Semitic.
And if you do not step out and say things that are radically pro-Israel, or if you are too quiet on certain narratives and they want you to be radically pro-Israel, you can lose everything. That's true.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Well, I turned my back on my own kind, but I somehow thought that I'd be fine. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Slow it down now. I never thought the leopards would eat my face. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. It would happen to me. I turned my back on my own kind, but I somehow thought that I'd be fine. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. But we all knew what happened eventually to Candace.
Today, the Israel lobby has.
She does this thing. To me, I just think she's hilarious. She has a huge following, but she talks about, she said, I don't know if you heard the lyrics of her song. It said, I turned my back on my own kind and somehow thought that I'd be fine. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. But they always do. So she does this parody after everything that happens. She did it when the guy from the delegate, the DNC delegate from Dearborn, was like, please help us,
Yeah, and they were the one leading the fight against Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was telling them, yeah, we're gonna support Israel, but she wanted the war to stop. She was gonna fight to end the war. And Trump told them to finish the job, in other words, turn it to, like you said, it's gonna end up being waterfront property, but not for the Palestinians. And Huckabee is the ambassador that Trump have appointed to be the ambassador over there. And he said, there's no Palestine. There are no Palestinian people. They're just Samaritan and another part of it from the biblical part of it that he called it. But the Palestinian people are not people, in other words, as far as he's concerned.
So what do we do? Because we can sit here and go through all of that. The people have spoken. Short of the world coming to an end before January 20th, he's going to be the president.
Yeah, that means that all of us got to regroup.
Well, so I think
but I think we got to do it better. One of the things that the Democrats didn't do, as far as I'm concerned, is message what they did, what the good things that they have done. As far
Jerry, I don't care if the Democrats would have done. There's nothing based on what happened, the numbers that the Democrats could have done, unless they got to I just look at the numbers. Like this, am I telling you? I'm not protecting the Democratic Party because their messaging always has been an issue, will continue to be an issue until we go back, not back to what we used to do, which is what they're talking about now, but go back and figure out, like Cheryl, like we're all saying, what are the issues? Why is it that people decided that any part of what he was speaking about was better than freedom, than safety, than community, than family, than everything? I think that that's really where we are. We're at a space where we just have to do something different. And I think we have to figure out what that is. We can sit here. I mean, we can have this. I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it. I'm just saying he's going to be president. And
Right.
we haven't said anything what people should do. There are millions of people out there. And I think we said last week, even some of us on this show, that are scared to death of what's coming and what to do and how to protect our children or your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, or even yourself. What are we doing? That conversation is not being had. I can't help that they found a way to outmaneuver us, and they absolutely outmaneuvered us. I don't think that there was a person. Matter of fact, let me ask this question. I always ask these hard questions, and I love for you guys to think. I wish Bill was on here. Sure did miss him. But here's the question. Who could have won? Who could have run and won this time? Give me a name.
Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom.
I agree.
Y'all both said it simultaneously.
Yep.
Y'all both said Newsom.
I mean,
Y'all had that at the top of
he's
your
young
mouth.
enough. He's charismatic.
And he's white enough.
Smart.
Man, and he's a white male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
white
who was-
and male enough.
VP should have been who?
Kamala.
I think maybe a Buddha judge.
No, hell no. But
Okay.
anyway, that'd
So-
have been a losing recipe there.
Anybody else have anybody else? So they said Newsom. Anybody else got a person?
No.
Well,
I absolutely.
I love the person that ran.
Cheryl has
Really,
been trying to
I'm not, I understand. I'm not taking away, this is not to take away anything from Kamala, because she was the best opportunity we had to change to a new
I'm
future.
gonna go with
But
Shakira.
what I'm asking is that if we can't come up with somebody who would have beat Trump, then we don't need to talk about what went wrong with the Democratic Party, the MPA Party, or the Republican Party. You can't guarantee me somebody that you know that would have won I said JFK, but like he had to come out of the grave. That's what I really felt like. But I'm just saying it literally would have had to be. I just can't think. Even my
Newsom.
daughter Michelle Obama, but it wouldn't have mattered. They were
Newsom.
both.
Well, we know, and I'm just going to say this. We know it's, I'm Black. All of us are Black on this planet, right? And as much as I love us, America told us it wasn't one of us, right? And America is telling us it ain't you, right? So,
And America told us America told us ain't gonna be no woman. When they turned down Hillary Clinton in 2016, a white woman, hey, what do you think? They ain't ready for no woman yet.
And she.
In addition to that, so yeah, that might be the case. But think about all the people of color, Black folks who were male, who ran across the United States and got utterly defeated. Again, they said it ain't you. So whether it was Madam Vice President Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket or down ballot candidates that were of color, they said it's not you. We had strong viability here in Northwest Florida. We had a phenomenal slate of folks, and they still said it ain't you. So although I'm not taking away that it's not that being a woman was a huge hurdle and probably overwhelmingly, if I had to do it in terms of percentages, the majority of the issue. But I'm not going to say that being Black, again, I said it once, you could be a woman, could have been Black, can't be both. And I think as we saw with a lot of the down ballot candidates, it's not us. They have their racism, their misogyny has spoken. So for me, you know, I just don't see the path.
Well, from my vantage point, I saw, when you see 52% of white women vote for a misogynist, rapist, fraud, liar, felon, and
Who
then
won?
and
Who won?
and yeah, who that was saying something to their daughters and their children, to their future generation, that I don't care what happened to you, as long as we're not voting for this black woman. We don't care if you're my daughter, but you can die in childbirth because you may not can get to a clinic, or the doctors may not can help you in the hospital, who are more than qualified to take care of you for something that's simple to do to save your life. But their lives is threatened, their livelihood is threatened, their lives are threatened by jail, and they're even talking about the death penalty for doctors. When you talk, read what Steve Miller is saying and Steve Bannon. They want to end this. Go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say before we have to go, is that we have what we have, right? We've also have their blueprint, Project 2025. I would like to know when the conversation is going to switch to how do we combat this? How do we make it through? What is the plan? Who we running next time? So that we don't spend 6 months like, oh my gosh, I don't believe he won, as opposed to like, okay, let's get the plan and let's get to organizing and let's get to moving forward. So this does not happen again.
I think we all need to do a little bit more due diligence and start participating in those Black Project 2025 Zooms. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there is now a movement that kind of operates just in that modus operandi. Like, how do we make it through these next 4 years? And they're calling it the Black Project 2025. It's already got like 5 million folks or something like that. They've had.
Is that Facebook or YouTube?
I don't know where that, like, I saw it first on TikTok, and then I know I'm gonna have to get my information because my cousin sat in, she called me last week and she was like, are you on the Zoom for the Black Project 2025? And I was like, no, I am in my leadership team meeting, so I couldn't participate. And she said it was really good. And they kind of gave us, they were starting to outline the plan on what that looks like.
Right. Even locally, like what is the Black leadership locally, and not just the Black leadership, Democratic leadership? What is being done to move forward? Because we have another election coming up, and if everybody is not on the same page and then lockstep, we are doomed to repeat the same.
Yep, I don't disagree with you.
So the Black Project 2025, you said someone in Chicago that
no, I don't know where they're from. I saw it. I don't know where it's from. They started with this lady who was on TikTok. She was trying to amass a following, and it's kind of exploded within I'll call it Black social media spaces. And they had an organizing Zoom just Tuesday this week. It's the Black People Project 2025. It was a good, she said it was a good call, a great concept. They're trying to figure out how it will manifest. And it's like they are looking to try to figure out how we spend 12 trillion, or I'm sorry, is that 12 or 1.2 trillion?
1.2 trillion
within our own community. So they've been talking about it. They've got it, and it's like a wealth of like academia, scholars, attorneys, doctors, business folks, all together. They're trying to do. So we are now officially out of time.
Yeah.
9:00. Do you have a book review, Mr. McIntosh?
Just want to, from Babylon to Timbuktu, check this book out and read it. It's a great book. You know, time is up. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, sir, certainly want to thank Gay Valamont for joining us this evening. Please make sure you check out her press conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Supervisor of Elections office, which is 213 Palafox Street, and that's at 10 a.m. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night, and we will see you in a great week, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
See y'all.
Good night.